The mermaid's secret in the shimmering depths of the azure sea, where coral castles spiraled toward the sunlight and schools of fish danced in the currents, lived a young mermaid named Leanna. Unlike the other merfolk who were content to explore the reefs and sing with the dolphins, Leanna was endlessly curious about the world above the waves. Her long, wavy brown hair shimmered like moonlight on water, and her emerald green tail glowed faintly in the dark ocean trenches. But what truly set her apart was her voice, a melody so enchanting that even the whales would pause to listen. One evening, as Leanna floated near the surface, she heard a new sound, a deep, sorrowful song carried by the wind. Peeking above the waves, she saw a lone fisherman in a small wooden boat, strumming a weathered lute. His song spoke of loneliness, of a heart lost to the sea. Drawn to his music, Leanna swam closer, careful to stay hidden. Night after night, she returned, listening as the fisherman, named Kael, played his songs to the stars. She longed to speak to him, but merfolk were forbidden from revealing themselves to humans in ancient rule, meant to protect them from danger. Yet, Leanna couldn't resist. One moonlit night, she sang back, Kael's fingers stilled on the strings. "Who's there?" he called, peering into the dark water. With a deep breath, Leanna rose just enough for him to see her glowing eyes and the shimmer of her tail. Kael gasped, but instead of fear, wonder filled his face. A mermaid, their secret friendship blossomed. Leanna taught him the songs of the sea, and Kael shared tales of the land. But their joy was short-lived. The ocean's ruler, the stern Queen Nerissa, discovered Leanna's betrayal. "You have broken our laws," the queen thundered. "Humans bring only ruin." Before Leanna could plead, a violent storm erupted sent by Nerissa's magic. Kael's boat capsized, and he was thrown into the raging sea. Without hesitation, Leanna dove after him, fighting the waves to drag him to shore. Exhausted, she collapsed beside him on the sand. As dawn broke, Kael stirred, coughing up seawater. His eyes found hers, but something was different. Her tail was gone, replaced by human legs. Queen Nerissa's voice echoed in the wind. "You chose him over your own kind, so be it. You are human now." Leanna's heart ached for the sea, but as Kael took her hand, she realized love had given her a new home. And though she could never return to the ocean, sometimes, on quiet nights, the waves would carry a familiar melody, a fisherman's song answered by the distant echo of a mermaid's voice. With her shimmering tail gone and her gills sealed, Leanna took her first trembling steps on land, the sand warm beneath her new feet. Kael steadied her, his calloused hands gentle as he helped her stand. "You saved me," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion. "But you've lost your home because of it." Leanna looked back at the sea, where the waves crashed violently, Queen Nerissa's fury still churning the water. "I don't regret it," she said softly. But the ocean was not done with her yet. Kael brought Leanna to his small coastal village, where the people were wary of outsiders. With her uncanny beauty, long wavy brown hair, and eyes that seemed to shift like the tide, rumors spread quickly. Some called her a witch. Others whispered she was a siren in disguise, luring men to their doom. Only Kael's grandmother, an old woman named Mara, recognized the truth. "She's sea-touched," Mara murmured, pressing a seashell charm into Leanna's palm. "The ocean doesn't let go of its children so easily." Leanna tried to adjust to human life, learning to walk without stumbling, to eat cooked food, to speak without singing every word. But at night, she would slip down to the shore, letting the salt water lap at her ankles, aching for the depths she could no longer reach. And then, one evening, she heard a whisper in the waves. "Leanna!" A figure emerged from the surfer mermaid, with dark violet scales and piercing golden eyes. Lysara, Leanna's childhood friend. "You're alive!" Lysara gasped. "The queen told everyone you perished in the storm." Leanna's heart leaped. "Lysara, I didn't want to leave. I had no choice." "The queen lied," Lysara interrupted urgently. "She didn't just exile you, she's taken something from you. Your voice isn't just silent on land, it's gone." Leanna's hands flew to her throat. She had been so focused on learning to speak as humans did that she hadn't realized. Her true voice, the one that could calm storms and summon whales, had vanished. "Why?" Leanna asked, horrified. Lysara's eyes darkened. "Because she's afraid. Your voice was a power even she couldn't control. And now, she's using it." Deep beneath the waves, Queen Nerissa had bound Leanna's stolen voice into an enchanted conch. With it she could command the tides, summon monsters, and drown entire ships at will. The merfolk, once free, now lived in fear under her rule. Lysara pressed a small vial into Leanna's hand, a potion made from moonlit kelp. "Drink this at high tide, and you'll regain your tail for one night. But if you're not back by dawn, you'll be trapped as a human forever." Leanna hesitated. If she returned to the sea, she might reclaim her voice and free her people, but if she failed, she would lose Kael and her chance at a human life forever. Kael, sensing her turmoil, took her hands. "Go," he said firmly. "This isn't just about you anymore." Tears stung her eyes as she kissed him. Then, as the moon rose high, she drank the potion and plunged into the waves. Her legs burned as scales erupted over her skin, her tail reforming in a rush of magic. With a powerful flick, she shot into the depths toward the coral throne, where Nerissa waited. The queen was ready for her. "Foolish child," Nerissa sneered, clutching the glowing conch. "Did you really think you could challenge me?" Leanna couldn't speak, but she didn't need to. She sang not with her voice, but with her heart. The ocean itself answered. Whales surged from the abyss. Dolphins darted like arrows. Even the great sea serpents, ancient and wild, rose in defiance of the queen's tyranny. In the chaos, Leanna lunged for the conch, shattered it against the throne. A shockwave of sound erupted, her voice returning in a burst of light. Nerissa screamed as her magic unraveled, her form dissolving into sea foam. The merfolk were free. But as dawn approached, Leanna faced an impossible choice. Stay in the sea, where she belonged, or return to the shore and the man she loved. Lysara smiled sadly. "You've always been different, Leanna. Maybe your destiny isn't just one world, but both." With a deep breath, Leanna swam for the surface. When the sun rose, Kael was waiting on the beach. And there, in the shallows, stood Leanna, her tail gone, her legs human once more. But this time, when she opened her mouth, her voice carried the magic of the sea. The villagers, once fearful, now gathered in awe as she sang a melody of waves and wind, of love and sacrifice. And from that day on, Leanna became the bridge between two worlds. Some days, she walked among humans, Kael's hand in hers. Others, she waded into the waves, singing to the merfolk below. Because some hearts are too vast for just one world, and some songs are meant to be heard by both land and sea. Years passed, and Leanna's legend grew along the coastline. She became known as the Tydeckler, the woman who walked between worlds. Her songs capable of calming storms and guiding lost sailors home. With Kael by her side, they built a small school near the shore where she taught children the old merfolk songs, their melodies carrying warnings of riptides and promises of safe harbor. But the balance between sea and land was fragile. One autumn, as the fishing fleets prepared for their seasonal voyage, ships began disappearing, not claimed by storms or reefs, but vanishing without wreckages, if swallowed whole by the sea. The villagers grew fearful, their eyes turning to Leanna with suspicion. "First the mermaid comes, now the sea takes our men," they muttered. Even Kael, now her husband, noticed the change in the ocean's whispers. "The currents speak of something hungry," he told her one evening as they walked the shore. That night, Leanna slipped into the waves. Her enchanted moon kelp potion, a gift from Lysara, renewed each full moon, transforming her legs back to a tail. Deeper than she'd ever ventured, she found Lysara waiting, but her old friend was different. Her violet scales had dulled, her golden eyes shadowed with fear. "It's not the queen's doing," Lysara said urgently. "Something ancient has awakened. Something that should have slept forever." In the deepest trench, where sunlight never reached, an old god stirred. The Leviathan, a beast of legend, said to have been imprisoned by the first merfolk kings. Now, with Nerissa's magic broken, the bindings had weakened, and it was hungry. "It's consuming everything," Lysara explained. "First the fish, then the merfolk who strayed too deep. Now it's taken a taste for human ships." Leanna's blood ran cold. "How do we stop it?" Lysara hesitated. "The Leviathan answers to one thing, the song of binding, but it requires a voice powerful enough to reach the abyss, and a sacrifice." Leanna knew what that meant. The last time the song had been sung, the original Mer King had given his life to seal the beast away. Returning to shore, Leanna found the village in chaos. Another ship had vanished, this one carrying children learning the fisherman's trade. Among them was Mara Kael's young niece, who had Leanna's sea blue eyes and love of waves. Kael gripped her hands. There has to be another way. But Leanna had already made her decision. At midnight, with the village gathered on the cliffs and the merfolk waiting in the shallows, Leanna stood at the water's edge. She drank the last of her potion, her tail shimmering into existence as she raised her voice in a song older than the cliffs themselves. The ocean heaved. The Leviathan rose, a mountain of teeth and shadow, its maw wide enough to swallow islands. Leanna's song struck it like a harpoon, the ancient words weaving chains of magic around its monstrous form. But the beast fought back, its roar shaking the very sky. Just as her strength began to fail, another voice joined her skills, rough but unwavering. singing the melody she'd taught him years ago on their little boat. Then Lysara's voice rose from the waves, then Mara's from the cliff, then dozens more human and merfolk together, until the very air vibrated with their chorus. The Leviathan screamed. With a final thunderous note, the beast collapsed back into the depths. New chains of song and solidarity sealing it away this time. Perhaps, for good. Exhausted, Leanna slumped in the SHALLOWS ... only to feel her tail flicker. The potion's magic was fading too soon. But as the last scales dissolved, she realized her legs didn't return. Instead, something new emerged. Where her tail had been, shimmering tattoos now swirled up her legs, scales that glowed faintly blue in moonlight. She could feel the ocean in a way she never had, as human or mermaid not bound to one world, but truly belonging to both. On shore, Kael laughed through tears as he carried her from the waves. You never do things the simple way, do you? In the years that followed, the village thrived. Leanna and Kael's school became a sanctuary, where merfolk and humans traded stories and songs. Mara grew into a fierce sailor, her boat always guided by the dolphins who remembered the girl who helped save the sea. And on quiet nights, if you listened closely, you could hear it, the gentle harmony of land and ocean singing together. Because some stories don't end, they just change with the tide. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.